Math time. All right, we are on the Chapter 5 test review. Real quick, I just want to touch on number 2 is right here. I don't know what happened, why it's not showing it on the digital version. I believe it shows it on your math books at home, but what we're supposed to be doing is selecting all the numbers that have 5 as a factor. Or something like that. Again, the wording may be a little bit different, but the math is the same, meaning we're supposed to find the numbers that has 5 as a factor and select all that apply. All right. Well, let's look at number 1. Again, I'm on Chapter 5 test review. So number 1, list all the factors of the number. And the number here in this case is 14. This problem's pretty straightforward, but let's go over how I want you to set the problem up. We write 14 up at the top. That's the number we're finding the factors of. And remember, factors are few. I always start with 1 and the number itself. 1 times 14 is one way to get 14. Then I go to 2. Will 2 work? Well, the number ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, so I know 2 will work. 2 times what gives me 14? 2 times 7. Okay, what about 3? And then I can count by 3s, or I can use my divisibility rule of 3, which tells me if I take the two numbers, 1 and 4, and add them together, I get 5, and I just need to check to see if 3 is divisible into 5. Well, if we count by 3s, 3, 6, we don't end up on 5, so I know 3 won't work. Okay, what about 4? Count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16. Nope. What about 5? 5, 10, 15. Nope. What about 6? 6, 12, 18. No. What about 7? Yes, 7 will work, and I've already used it. Now remember, once we start getting back to numbers we've already used, that's when you know you're done. Okay, so go through just like I did. Check each number to see if it will go into. Don't just assume that it won't. So all the factors of 14 are 1, 2, 7, and 14. See, we got those numbers right here. All right, I'm going to erase that so I have my scratch paper. Again, I don't want you guys to erase, though. You have infinite amount of scratch paper. So next one, select all the numbers that have 5 as a factor. I can do 5 times 3 to get 15. And this is just really testing to see if you remember your divisibility rules, which the divisibility rule for 5 tells me that if the number ends in a 0 or 5 in the ones place, then 5 is a factor of that number. Well, this has a 3 in the ones place, so that won't work. This has a 5 in the ones place, that will work. 5 in the ones place, 0 in the ones place. Remember, 5 or 0. 5 or 0 in the ones place. Okay, and then a 1 in the ones place. No, that won't work. All right, let's look at 3. Jackson was making a poster for his room. He arranged 50 trading cards in the shape of a rectangle on the poster. Choose yes or no to tell whether a possible arrangement of cards is shown. Now, this is just showing arrays, so really you can think of this as times. All of these are like times. So, and then you're trying to see if it equals 50. So 5 times 10, is that 50? Yes. 7 times 8, does that equal 50? No. So that's really all you're doing. So on the actual test, of course, they're going to use different numbers, but you can think of all these rows as just being times, 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 and you're just checking, is the number times the other number equal the number that they're asking you about in the problem? Okay. All right, I'll let you complete the rest of that table on your own now that you know what to do. Again, if you need to rewind or you have a question about this problem, don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask. Okay, list all the factor pairs in the table And then you have to read the table. We're looking for factors of 48. Again, we start with 1 and the number itself always. 1 and 48. 1 times 48 is 48. Then I check, will 2 work? Well, I know my divisibility rules for 2. So yes, 2 will work. 2 times what? 2 times 24 is 48. And then as I go, I can list my factors over here, 1 and 48. The factors are from right here. 2 and 24. Again, 2 and 24. And then I continue on, okay? Again, I'm not going to do all of them for you. You know how to solve these problems. If you do have a specific question, please raise your hand and I will have no problem answering your question for you. Focus, can-do attitude, take initiative, and listen carefully. All right, I'll see you on the next video.